All right, so this next problem saying which of these statements is true about the square root of 2. Okay, and as you can see, the very first part of each one says it is irrational, it is irrational. Letter C says it is rational, D says it is rational. Okay, well, what do we know about the square root of 2? First off, what do we know about the number 2? The number 2 is prime. 2 is prime. It's the only even prime, okay? So that means the square root of 2, since 2 is prime, and we're taking the square root, and the square root of every prime number is irrational, that means the square root of 2 is irrational. Okay, you need to know that. All right, now that we know the square root of 2 is irrational, we have to remember why it's irrational. Why are numbers irrational and why are other numbers rational? Okay, the square root of 2 is irrational because there is no way you can write the square root of 2 using an integer over an integer. Okay, so remember what the integers are. They're -1, 1, -2, 2, -3, 3, -4, 4, -5, 5, -6. Okay, you get it. All right. There's no number from this list that you can pick that you can put one on top and then one on the bottom and then you get square root of 2. Okay, so in other words, square root of 2 is irrational because you can't write it as a fraction. You cannot. Maybe we'll write it right here. You cannot write square root of 2 as a fraction. Okay? Where the numerator, I guess we could add a little bit more, where the numerator, okay, or we'll just say where the top and bottom, okay? Same thing. Where the top and bottom are integers. Okay? So that's why the square root of 2 is irrational. That's another reason why, okay? Because you can't write it as a fraction, integer over integer, okay? But again, you can't choose any numbers. There are no numbers in this list where you can put one on top and one on the bottom and get square root of 2. All right? So the square root of 2 is irrational because you can't write it as a fraction, okay? And that goes for every single other irrational number as well. All right? This next one's saying select a possible value for x in the equation x squared equals 43. So you probably, the best thing to do here, it's saying select a possible value for x in the equation x squared equals 43. Well, if they want a possible value for x in this equation, I think they're asking for a value for x that'll make this equation true. And the way you can do that is to find a solution. All right, so this is just another way of saying what's a possible solution for x. All right, there's different words to use when asking these kind of questions. Okay, but this is the same thing. What's a possible solution for x? Okay, so the way to do that, same thing as before, take the square root of both sides to get rid of the squared. All right, because we want the x by itself, right? They're asking for a possible value for x. Okay, so we can cancel those out. We get x equals plus or minus the square root of 43. Okay, I really should have wrote plus or minus up here too. Okay, whenever you take a square root, you always put plus or minus. All right, so what does that mean? That means the positive square root of 43 is a possible value for x, and the negative square root of 43 is another possible value for x. Okay, so we go through our list. That doesn't work, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. Oh, look at there. Negative square root of 43. Okay, that's our possible value for x. That's our solution. Okay, square root of 43 we can't find here. All right, the negative square root of 43 is right there, so we select him. All right, and okay,